Ladies and gentlemen, the music department here at UWL welcomes you to Annette Recital Hall this afternoon for the next in our series of open music departmental recitals. Please take this time to turn off all electronic devices, especially those that may make disruptive noise or have bright screens that may disturb and distract others. Remember, eating, drinking, talking, and flash photography are prohibited. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me all right? Awesome. Well, welcome. We're going to have just a brief start to this. This is a much longer topic than we have time for, and I'm going to hang out down here with you all because this is an interactive thing too. So whether or not you knew that coming in the door, now is your fair warning that we're going to have a discussion about what a Plan C is. Well, let me put you in a framework for what this is. Whether you're going to be a music teacher or music artist, or maybe you just enjoy being musical and you're going to have a lifetime where you're going to make money doing something else, whatever that may be, hopefully all of you have or have started to think about what you want your life to look like. And that would be framed as your Plan A. Everybody has a goal of what, if I'm going to be doing everything I want to do as a career and personal life, that's my Plan A. Does everybody get where I'm talking now? So what we're talking about is Plan A is not going to happen the minute you get slapped with a degree from UWL and you walk out the door and you move on to whatever is going to happen next. That may be grad school for you. That may be getting your first teaching job. It may be doing nothing that involves getting regularly paid for music, but you want to be involved as a musician in some way. So that's life. Hopefully you figured this out. For those of you that are going to go be teachers, even if you go and get your first teaching job, I can tell you from personal experience, you're going to get some money, which is great. You may not be getting enough money to be able to survive at a level for which you want to live your life. The housing market is crazy right now. Who knows what it'll be? So with all of those things being said, I'm not trying to paint a doom and gloom picture, but what I'm trying to get you to think about is, how do I get myself in whatever way I want to be to that point, and what decisions or what things might I need to go through first to be able to get to my Plan A? So that's where the concept of Plan C comes into play. I wish I had learned this when I was your age or someone had spoken to me about it. I truly thought I'm going to get a music education degree, I'll be able to go be a band director and teach public school, and I will not have any worries whatsoever about money or living or anything. It's going to be great. I was so naive. When I got to grad school, I took this awesome class at UNCG that was all about being an entrepreneur and how to market yourself as an artist. I never thought about this. I'm not a person that likes to have the spotlight shined on me. And I had a really wise teacher who's very different from me, an opera singer, and he looked at me and he said, "You are too humble and too nice and too polite, and if you don't start figuring out how to assert yourself, no one will hire you." And that was really good advice to hear. And I kind of brushed at him a little bit and pushed him on it, and I said, "But I don't want to be somebody different than I am." And he says, "You don't have to be, but you have to understand how things like marketing, networking, and Plan Cs fit into your life as an artist." So give me an idea, please, of some jobs or some things that you could do besides music that you think would help you in your life as a performing career. What could be some Plan C type work that you could do that might be able to fill the gap between being a performing artist at your Plan A and when you graduate? What are some things that you might do or already do to fill the gap? Who has some suggestions? Go ahead, Cass. Volunteer. And volunteer doesn't get you money in the door, but what does it get you? Exactly. It gets you the opportunity to meet people. So you can go volunteer with local arts organizations. You may meet somebody that later on you'll get to do a gig with. If you were here last week, I think it was last week when we had the guest artist Jim Piela came in with his combo, and he talked about how they go and just play at Chicago gigs and in New York, and they go to each other's concerts. That's one of the most exciting and important things that I think we have room to grow here at UWL is supporting each other in performance. Because you go to somebody else's performance, they come to yours, you meet people, that's one way to show support. What other jobs could you have? Yeah. Music preparation, sure. Has anyone ever thought about going and getting hired in an office to do filing and sorting? Has anyone done this before? Yeah. So the reason I'm suggesting this job is, let's say your goal is you're going to be a music teacher, but I sure hope, and Dr. Fisher and Dr. Hathaway and myself believe this to the core of our being, that the best teachers are also still performing and being musical yourselves. So we're going to go with that context. If you're a music teacher and you need to perform and need to be out there, or if you're a performing musician and you want to have the ability to go do some late night gigs, there's no better job in the world than a 9-to-5 job where you're filing or doing sorting or things like that, because you're going to get paid. Also, this may be an opportunity for you to have guaranteed insurance. So if you're going to be a performing artist and you don't have a job that doesn't give you insurance already, this job may give it to you. Nobody wants to spend their life doing something they don't enjoy for work, I hope, but it's a path towards something better. And so finding that plan C is really important for you as an artist. And you need to be willing to do some things. Sometimes you may have to do plan Q for a while, and then you get lucky enough to get to plan C and you're feeling pretty happy about things. What are some other types of jobs or work or things you think you might need to do as a plan C? Any other ideas? Yeah. Volunteer anywhere you can. Those are good ideas. In other words, you just need to be prepared to do whatever it takes. I feel very blessed and lucky. I've never been unemployed with music in my entire career of over 22 plus years now, past graduating with my first degree. I've never been unemployed in music, but there have been times in my life where my main source of time and income was not a music job. Right now at UWL, and I love teaching here, please don't fire me, I love teaching here, my salary does not allow me to live 12 months of the year doing just what I do at UWL. That may surprise some of you. I'm grateful for getting paid anything so that I can eat, but I need to plan things to do. So over the summer, right now, as part of my own plan CBA in life, as I continue to get more networking and get to do more gigs in the summer that are musical, I work at the golf course in town, one of the golf courses. I have a great time doing it. Gets me out somewhat and doing more exercise, still have more to do, and I enjoy getting out and meeting people. You'd be so surprised in that job how many people I met, and they say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I work at the university. What do you do? I teach in music. Oh, I have a person in my family that's musical. I've actually gotten gigs from working at the golf course, just because I was open to talking about it. And so I want you to think about this as you move through school, the benefits of not only finding ways to continue to bring in employment to yourself, but also to make yourself available from a network. What are some other ways while you're still in school that you can build your own network? Some of you are great at this, I know, but others of us, I don't know if we really realize how important this is. What are some ways you can build a network of support for you as an artist? Yeah, Claire. Sure, going and getting seen and talking to people and being willing to walk up to people you don't know and introduce yourself, right? You never know when you might be asked to sit in on their classroom. What are some other good networking ideas? Yeah. Go out, support each other. How many of you have a website currently for yourself? You should. Now. Maybe you have it built and you don't host it yet. That's what I did with my first one. I had the domain bought and everything. In fact, it's really weird. This just came up, and Dr. Borja will laugh at me, and it's okay, but I have been trying to get the domain davisconductor.com for a long time because I thought it was really easy. I have a very common name, and I thought, well, how do I market myself if I don't have that? Just 3 days ago, I got an email that it's now available, so I bought it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I will. Because before, my website was like something convoluted, right? Another piece of advice about networking Plan C and making yourself marketable is think about everything, including your email. With today's email, it's so much easier. You can change it to anything you want. With most mail programs, you can create an alias email that will send to your own mailbox everything that you need to get, right? This is important if you were young and stupid like me at one point in time. I will be very vulnerable and share with you my first email address. I thought this was so smart. My first email was Band Maestro. Yeah, that was not a good choice. I'll never forget applying to one of my first jobs, and my mentor in college, who was my undergrad conducting teacher, he was like, what the heck is this? I got this email from Band Maestro. He said, how good do you think you are? I said, what do you mean? He goes, that has arrogance spilling out of it. And I said, it does? I didn't think of it that way. So it's good to have friends and colleagues. So I still have that email, but it has an alias, and I've never ever used the original domain ever again on it. So thinking about how to make your email professional so that you can network is very important. So I just want you to think about these things. Like I said, it's a longer conversation for more time than we have today and for other days too. But start now thinking about how you can market and network yourself. When we have a guest artist on campus, all of you should be at those events whenever you possibly can, and take time afterwards to thank them for performing and have a question in your mind. I love it when I watch some of you go out and perform and you go to other concerts and I see you ask those questions. Don't be shy. At conference, if there's a bigwig there performing or talking, go introduce yourself. People want to meet you. Just be polite and be a kind human. I think that's the last thing I want to talk about today with the Plan C concept is this. I have gotten many gigs, still get gigs, sometimes even when I haven't deserved them, because I've been a good human being to the people that I've worked with. And that is the biggest thing that you can take away when you go and you do a gig or when you go and get a different job to make more money, is just be polite and open and receptive, be kind, all these things that we are supposed to have learned in kindergarten and still do. Be early, be prepared. I have, for the gig that I'm doing right now with a community band, I'm making no money, but I'm playing with friends and having a good time. I have 2 sets of music. I have one in my car and one in my office, because I'm scared to death that I'll forget the music for a gig. I know that about myself, so I've overly prepared to deal with that. Some of you have heard this story before. I had a wonderful percussion student when I taught high school band. He's an absolutely amazing performer. He is the first call sub for Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas right now. He performed at Disney as a part of the Disney band and March Drum Corps, very talented performer. When he was a junior in high school, we had an opportunity to play a musical together, and I got him hired. And he came, sorry, I don't have a gain on this, it's ringing like crazy. I'll put it down here. There we go. When he came to that gig, the very first time we had a rehearsal, we were early, and he walks up to me, I'm playing horn. He says, Mr. Davis. I said, yeah, Mitchell, what's up? I said, except it's Justin, we're at a gig. And he said, I don't have my drumsticks. I said, that sounds like a bad deal. And just went back to warming up. And he looked at me and said, you're not going to help me? I said, no. We're equals. Figure it out. So he had to walk up to the conductor and say, I'm very sorry, I don't have my sticks. I will play with something I can find. And the conductor said, that's fine for tonight. And fortunately for that young man, he had a very understanding conductor in that professional situation. After that experience, I think he used pencils or some ungodly, not correct way to play the percussion instruments. He made it work. Luckily, he didn't get fired, and he was allowed back at the second gig. From that point forward, he had 2 stick bags, one he left in his car and one that he carried with him, and he still does that to today. I got an email from him last month just checking in, and he said, hey, I don't know if you remember when this happened, but I wanted to say thank you. He said, thank you for not saving me in that moment. So think about how you can be over-prepared, be kind, be early, do all the right things, because if you do that and you have a good experience and you play moderately well, you'll get hired back. You'll get more opportunities. They'll remember you as someone that they enjoyed performing with. And I think that's the biggest thing, that as you build a career, whether you're teaching or performing, is to remember those basic things, because sadly, not everybody does these. And there are umpteen stories of people getting to the finals of orchestra auditions and not getting the gig because, frankly, they're a jerk and nobody wants to play with them. Blind auditions can only take you so far. Once you actually have to sit beside another human and collaborate, it's really important. So in summary, with Plan C, and we'll talk more about this throughout your courses and at other times, and I'd be happy to visit with anybody who would like some individual guidance on this. I want you to think farther ahead than you do right now. Think about being past your undergraduate degree. Think about having a degree in hand, what you want to have for your life, and how you're going to get there by taking some things that maybe you don't want to do all the time, but you're going to have to get through that moment of life with a little bit of grit and grace to find yourself at a point where you feel really happy and settled in whatever you're doing. I have friends that thought they wanted to be a professional musician and have that be where they make their money. By going through this process, they actually figured out they enjoyed working in the business world, making many, many more dollars, and having a solid job in insurance, and playing music on the side, and they're much happier people. There's nothing wrong with that path. We've got to get out of the mindset that to be labeled a musician means that you have to have that be your occupation. Maybe it can just be your vocation. Maybe it's what you're called to do to make the world a better place. But through that journey, setting yourself up for success with networking, getting ahead of the game with websites, and being kind is really important. So thanks for your attention today, and we'll keep talking about this on ways to help get you to the next step, whatever that may be for you all. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks.